What's up guys, my name's Rob, this is Decoded, and today I'm talking about 5 of my favourite little time saving tips in Blender. Okay, so the first one I've got up here is the quick cut tool. So if we add a mesh here, anybody who's had to use the knife tool to cut between verts knows that it can be a little bit fiddly. Sometimes you're like making a cut and you think you're on it, and then when you press enter you realise you weren't. You weren't on the verts you were trying to cut. What we can do instead is we can select two verts, press J, and it'll automatically cut between those two. We can also, if we hold down shift while we select some verts here, it's like this, 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 and this. If we press J, it'll kind of add a loop and cut between all of them. That's a really handy one if you're doing a lot of cutting work. The second tip that I've got is the quick favorites menu. If there's any operations that you find yourself doing again, like let's say marking seams, okay, instead of going into edit and then mark seams all the time like this, what we can do is we can right click on the option, add to quick favorites, and then now if we press Q to bring up quick favorites, you can see here I've got shade smooth added already and I've got mark seams. Press that and it'll mark all of our seams just like it normally would. If you want to remove an option, you can press Q and then press mark seams. Right click on it, remove from favorites on mark seams, and now it's gone from the menu. The third tip that I've got, I need to bring up the shading menu and add a new material because this one's about nodes. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, you've added a load of different nodes. Okay, so you know you're going to need a diffuse and a noise, and you're going to need a texture coordinate, and you're going to need a mapping node. Instead of going in and manually connecting up all these like noodles, what you can do is just box select and then press F, and it'll automatically connect up the nodes through the primary sockets. This one is really handy if you're using like big node setups. And speaking of big node setups, if you ever end up in the situation where you've got like a huge node setup, sometimes you can end up kind of like miles away like this, like you're well off the nodes. Doesn't matter how far I zoom out, doesn't matter which direction I drag in, I'm going up, I'm going to the left, I'm going right, I can't find it now. And especially if I make a new material here, like it's added some nodes here now, and I have no idea where it's added them to. What I can do, if I press Ctrl and F, it brings up a search bar, and you can see there it's found one node, it's found material output. If we select that, it'll take us straight to it, and you can use that to search for any node. So we can go there like principal BDSF. If we had a large node setup, that can be really helpful instead of having to go through and figure them all out. The final tip that I've got here, if we go back to the layout view, if you're modeling or you're sculpting and you want to see your mesh from like different angles at different times, instead of like dragging in like new windows and then setting it up from like different views like you'd normally have to, what you can do is you can just press Ctrl, Alt and Q, and it'll give you this four-way view. It gives you a view that's locked to the top ortho, the front and the right ortho, and then a perspective view, right? This one is super handy if you're doing any texture painting work, if you're doing any modeling work, sculpting, and if you want to go back to the default view, Ctrl, Alt, Q again, and it zips straight back to it. Okay, that's a super handy one, guys. So anyway, let me know if you liked this video. If you've got any little tips of your own, please leave them in the comments. I personally have loads more of these, so if you want to see more of these videos, just let me know and I'll make another one. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. I make new videos every week, and don't forget to hit that like button, guys.